Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you our updated DIY fairy garden. Behind our shed we stacked our firewood and it's pretty much a little neglected space. So last year we decided to make it a fairy garden. So this summer the kids are putting their fairy garden back together, so they pulled the weeds and they're spreading the mulch over little patches that need to be touched up. And then when they're done, they get to completely design their fairy garden all by themselves. A lot of the little houses and things that we got were from Value Village or Goodwill, and they're actually Christmas houses from Christmas villages that people had donated, but they make perfect little fairy homes. We also picked some things up at little garden shops and garden centers, and this year we collected a few more new ones. A lot of them are also homemade. The kids made them themselves, so you can see it's sort of a mismatch hodgepodge of all the little different houses, and they have some little fairy toys in there and some doors, and it's really just a sweet little secret place where they love to play and come back and use their imagination. The plants are all perennials that don't require watering, and they just sort of take care of themselves, so we didn't even have to plant anything this year. They retouched up their sign just using Sharpies. They sort of made this little wood sign and hand painted and colored rocks that they set throughout their little garden. All in all, it's such an easy to do, inexpensive way of creating a little whimsy and magic in your backyard, especially if you have a neglected, maybe weed infested spot that you can just add a few little houses, maybe a magic door, and really make it a place where your kids can play this summer, have make-believe, and if they're still young enough, it really is such a magical little space. So the next morning after they designed their fairy garden, they were so thrilled to come out and see that it was covered in pixie dust. So the fairies had come to visit. They also left a little note and they sprinkled the pixie dust all over everything. And this happens from time to time, that there'll be new little surprises and secrets waiting for them in the morning when they come to their fairy garden to play. So I'm going to put a link to the original video where we first created our fairy garden, and this is what it looked like. It was a lot less Wild Kingdom, but since all the plants came back, they're a little bit out of control and crazy. But you know what? It adds to the whimsy. And while we were doing the fairy garden, all of the geese came to visit Milo. They actually come when they're called, which is really cool. So we can call out to them and they all come running and we can feed them right in the backyard. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hit that subscribe button for more organizing, decorating, and DIY videos each and every week. So thanks so much for those of you who have stayed to the end. If you guys have an elf on the shelf, you can kind of get the idea of a fairy garden. So the fairies come and visit us. It used to be every night. Now sometimes the fairies forget to go, but it's often. And they sprinkle their pixie dust and they leave little notes, and sometimes they bring different treasures or leave little surprises in the fairy garden. So the fairies have to remember to do this, because if they don't, the kids get very disappointed. But it's like a small little thing that the fairies can do that bring crazy amounts of joy. Like the kids come in squealing in the morning, oh my gosh, the fairies came and look what the fairies left. And the first thing they do when they wake up in the morning is run outside to the garden to see. And the cool thing is our neighbors have gotten in. They're like in their 80s and they have gotten in on the fairy party. So I'm pretty sure it's them. We share a fence, because there have been surprises that surprised even mommy and daddy in the fairy garden, which is so great. And if you have little girls, even if you have a little boy, think about, a dinosaur garden or a little, I don't know, elf garden or something, some little tiny thing in the summer. I know it's more work. I hear you, my friends. It is more work, but it's only a few years where you can have this magic, and then it's gone, and it's gone forever. So even if you just, make a DIY little house or do something with sticks, I don't know, consider having a fairy garden today. It brings such joy. It really does. And I'm so happy that we decided to do it, and that is why I wanted to share it with you. See you next time.